New York City Tourist Traps that you must not miss, Part 1. Hi, I'm Megan, and today I am going to show you why you have to visit Times Square. Yes, it's a tourist trap, but there's lots of amazing stuff to see here. There is a reason why it is so popular. But first, I'm going to need you to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a New York Minute.
Yeah, muffin talk. Ooh, muffin talk. Muffin talks, bringing healing to those who need them most.
Times Square. Yes, it is crowded. Yes, it is noisy. But there is a reason why tourist traps are tourist traps, and that's because people like them. People come here for the energy. This is known as the crossroads of the world. And where I'm standing right now is an area known as the Red Steps. And from the Red Steps, you get this amazing view where you can people watch people from all over the world, soaking up the magic of New York City. And across the way, you will see a tall tower. On the top of the tower, you will see the numbers 2021 and a ball. Right now, it's lit up blue. This is the Times Square Tower. And that ball is the ball that is part of the New Year's Eve ball drop that has happened every year since 1907. Licensed New York City tour guide fact check. From 1942 to 1943, the New Year's Eve ball was temporarily retired in a nationwide dim out for World War II. Crowds still gathered in Times Square, but they greeted the new year with a moment of silence instead of the boisterous celebrations that we know Times Square for today. We're gonna go now explore some areas in and around Times Square that make it so special and are the reasons why truly some locals do come here to hang out, especially people like myself who work in the arts, and why tourists gravitate towards the area as well, and why you must not miss Times Square. Underneath the big red steps, where it's the great place to people watch and take photos, we have the TKTS booth. The TKTS booth is a half-price ticket booth. When Broadway is open, we are filming during COVID-19, so there's no Broadway at the moment. But when Broadway is open, you can come here and get tickets that are up to half price off to see Broadway shows. This is a great tip if you are seeing Broadway on a budget. Find the red steps. This is a half-price ticket booth. Line up the day of the show, and you can get half-price tickets. Also, you may have noticed in the background, there's totally a photo shoot happening here. So if you like people watching, Times Square is definitely the place to be. You never know, you can see celebrities here taking photos. You will see a lot of characters like this in Times Square. Right now it's Mickey Mouse's. We often joke about all the Elmos. If you see them, this is a big don't in Times Square. Do not go up and hug the Elmos. Do not take photos with the Elmos or the Mickey Mouses. The reason for this is they actually will want a tip, and there's not really a designated amount that the tip is supposed to be, so they have been known to sometimes get a little violent. So you want to avoid that, and that'll also kind of be the big tip off that you're a tourist if you're posing with one of these characters. So stay away from the characters in Times Square. We're in front of the red steps still, on the same block, and you will see on the ground there's a map, and it lists all of these weird names. You'll see like Belasco, Lyceum, Palace. This is actually a map of all the Broadway theaters. So right now I'm standing on the Schubert Theater. That's where Matilda played. That's where Hello Dolly played. I believe that's where A Chorus Line originally played as well. So that's kind of cool. And if you get your tickets from TKTS and you don't know where your theater is, just come in front of the red steps, look at the floor, and you can get an idea of where your theater is. So just fun fact, this guy right here, this is George M. Cohen. He composed songs such as Yankee Doodle Dandy. So, vaudeville performer, he actually performed at one of the Broadway theaters that's now known as the Palace Theater, which is actually right behind us. It's underneath construction right now, so it doesn't look that fancy, but there he is. The man who composed Yankee Doodle Dandy himself. This isn't a place where a lot of locals will go, but behind me is a store called Grand Slam. In my opinion, this is the best souvenir store in all of New York City. It's huge, and they have all of the I Love New York City t-shirts and mugs and models of the Statue of Liberty that you could want. But fun pro tip, if you go into the lower level, they actually have dollar bins where everything only costs $1. So if you want to get a fun New York City souvenir on a budget, that's the place to go. And it's right here across the street from the Red Steps. It is on the west side if you're trying to navigate. It's also huge, so you will see the signs that say Grand Slam. I'm here in the 99-cent department, just looking at some of the fun souvenirs. Here's a pencil with the Statue of Liberty on it. We have bottle openers with the Empire State Building on it. It's just this whole row is all 99-cent items. And some of the stuff you didn't even know you needed, like rubber ducky that says New York on it, keychains. So yeah, come check this out. It's excellent if you're looking for a souvenir of New York City. And you can also, like, I don't know, prove your golf game. I don't know that I ever need a golf ball that has the Twin Towers on it, but that's here. And then here's like a cute little Statue of Liberty keychain, but it's kind of fun to check out. So, Grand Slam. They have condoms. This condom has a porpoise. You can show your support for your favorite line of the MTA. Actually, my favorite line is probably the 3 train, but you know, F's good too. Here at Grand Slam, I'm awarding myself the prize for the world's greatest woman. It's so fun in here. Behind me is what I would consider to be a don't of Times Square. It's the Olive Garden. I would recommend that you go to Don Giovanni's instead. It's excellent Italian food. But you know, if you're like craving breadsticks, I get it. Olive Garden breadsticks are very special. However, it tends to be a little more expensive in Times Square than it is basically any other place in the United States. So I'd recommend you save your breadsticks for someplace else and go to Don Giovanni's or Carmine's if you're looking for great Italian food in Times Square. Across the street from me is M&M World, definitely a tourist trap, also really fun. Lots of tourists and locals alike like to go into M&M World because they have every color of M&M that you can possibly imagine. Also, when you're in the M&M store, you'll see all of this like M&M merchandise that you can get. Green M&Ms, brown M&Ms, yellow M&Ms. You can get merchandise for your favorite M&M. Super fun. Inside of Times Square, you will find some of the best cheesecake in New York City. It's at a restaurant called Junior's. It actually originated in Brooklyn, but there is a location right here in Times Square. If you're staying in Times Square, it's super close to your hotel. Unfortunately, right now we are filming during COVID-19, so this exact location of Junior's is closed. However, in normal times, you can go in. They serve giant sandwiches. They have really great matzo ball soup, and you can order your cheesecake at your table, or you can get your cheesecake to go, and you can eat it at your hotel room. You can eat it when you get home to your apartment. You can save it and eat it on the ride home to wherever it is that you are going. This cheesecake, they have giant slices. The legend is that it was developed in Brooklyn from a recipe from 1929, and they've only improved on that recipe since then. So now you can get layered cheesecake. My favorite one has a layer of chocolate cake, a layer of chocolate cheesecake, and a layer of regular cheesecake covered in chocolate chips. It is so good. It's also big enough. I eat the whole thing by myself because that's how I roll, but it's definitely big enough to share with friends as well. So, tourist trap in a tourist trap, but if you come to New York City and don't eat cheesecake, you're doing it wrong. Also in Times Square is this restaurant called Sardi's. Basically, it is the place to see and be seen if you are into Broadway theater, and the walls are covered in these illustrations of famous Broadway stars. If you're a Broadway lover and you come to Times Square, Sardi's is a must, even if you just go in and get a drink and spend 30 minutes in there. Fabulous place inside this tourist trap known as Times Square. I have now entered an area that isn't technically Times Square. It's attached to Times Square. It's just west of Times Square, known as Hell's Kitchen. Bum, bum, bum. It's very, very scary here. No, it's not scary at all. Right now, I'm on 46th Street between 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue. And this specific block is known as Restaurant Row because there are so many really great restaurants here. Any type of food that you want, you can get. And there's also really iconic venues, such as Don't Tell Mamas, which I am standing in front of right now. This is a cabaret venue. You will see famous stars performing there. You will see up and coming New York talent performing there. It's super fun. You can go there late at night for a late night drink, or you can sit down and have a meal and watch a whole show. So this is a really, really fun place to come, and this is a place where locals truly, truly frequent. It's a great place to come to get pre-theater dinner, and it's just a great place to come and relax with friends. Times Square is super central, it's super easy to get to, so Restaurant Row, place for locals and tourists alike. Don't let locals tell you they don't come here. In Hell's Kitchen on 9th Avenue is another wonderful foodie mecca where you will find every type of food that you can imagine. And locals love to come to 9th Avenue because all of the restaurants here compete with one another to have the best lunch deals, especially at the Thai restaurants. David and I love to go to a place called Obao. I don't know if you can see it in the background, it's kind of hidden by a tree, kind of an Asian fusion restaurant. They also have incredible cocktails. The atmosphere is amazing, and you can go there for lunch and get like an appetizer and a main course for about $12, which for New York City is excellent. So this is a place in the Times Square area where New York locals come for good food and good fun. I'm really excited. I'm showing you one of my favorite places in the Times Square area. It's a cookie shop called Schmackary's. Schmackary's is also known as the official cookie of Broadway. You will see Broadway stars coming here between their shows, getting cookies. Their cookies are delicious. And the story is that Zachary Schmall, who founded Schmackary's Cookies, was a performer. And then he transitioned out of performing into becoming a baker. And he said now he has become part of the Broadway community in a way that he never could have imagined, and in a bigger way than he could have become were he to become a big Broadway star, because his cookies are served at so many Broadway opening nights, so many Broadway special events and galas. So he really is a Broadway star in his own right, and his cookies come in all these super fun flavors. We're gonna go check them out. I got a cookie called the candy bar because it has delicious pieces of candy bar on top of it. Give it a taste. I used to come here all the time, and because of the pandemic I haven't been coming here. It brings back so many happy memories. The texture is amazing, the flavor is amazing. I'm gonna go shove it in my face, and I'll be back. After my Schmackary's, I walked by one of my favorite places in New York City, which is Broadway Dance Center. And when people say that locals don't come to Times Square, they definitely are not talking about performers, because performers do come to Times Square to take dance class at Broadway Dance Center. In normal times, I'm here several times a week taking dance class right there, and then afterwards I go and get my Schmackary's cookies. If you are a performer or if you are a dancer and you want to come and take a dance class, these are all open dance classes. So you'll want to go onto the Broadway Dance Center website to check out their schedule and make sure that you take a class that is the appropriate level for your skill set. Something to keep in mind is that in New York, the levels tend to be more advanced than they actually say. So for example, if you take a beginner class, it might actually be more intermediate. So you want to make sure that you take absolute beginner. If you take an intermediate class, it might be more advanced. So if you're a little on the fence, try to level down. But all the classes are super fun, and I find the community to be very, very supportive. And Broadway Dance Center is a great dance center here in New York City. This crowd that you see here, not tourists. These are locals. This is Los Tacos #1, and in my humble opinion, it is the best tacos in New York City. I've even given tours to people from Mexico who have eaten here at Los Tacos #1 and said it was literally the best tacos that they had ever had in their entire life. There's several locations of Los Tacos #1, but one of them is right here on 43rd Street between 8th Avenue and Broadway. It is so delicious and so fast. So if you're looking for something really fast to eat, this is the way to go. That line moves fast and the deliciousness is out of this world. We're in a bit of a hurry, so I'm not going to show you one of the tacos today, but you'll have to come and visit for yourself. Not a tourist trap, it is in Times Square, and it is delicious. We are standing here on 42nd Street. If I could tap dance, I would. I'm a ballet dancer, not a tap dancer. 42nd Street is what most people think of when they think about Times Square. There's lots of Broadway theaters here, there's lots of big restaurants here, and there's also some tourist traps known as Madame Tussauds Wax Museum and Ripley's Believe It or Not. Yes, these are absolute tourist traps. They are also a lot of fun. If you go into Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, they have wax figurines. They have a whole section that's dedicated to Broadway. So they have wax figurines of famous Broadway performers and famous Broadway characters. It's also the only place where you can take a photo with Judy Garland and Richard Nixon on the same day. It's so random, it's so weird, it's also so much fun. So don't let somebody shame you out of having a fun at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Also, Ripley's Believe It or Not is great if you have kind of a more morbid sense of humor. They'll show you torture devices and shrunken heads. Yes, absolute tourist trap. Also, absolutely a lot of fun. So I encourage you, if you have the time, especially if you're traveling with kids, that is so much fun. Pay a visit. Madame Tussauds and Ripley's Believe It or Not. We're here at Bryant Park. This is known as the backyard of Times Square. Fun fact, there's actually free Wi-Fi here. There's this beautiful park. In the summertime, they have free outdoor movies here. They have free concerts. Sometimes they have Broadway performances here. You can also see there's people sitting around. They'll come out here to eat their lunch, to do their work, because there is the free Wi-Fi. There's also shops set up, and all of the shops that are here are local New York City artisans. So it's stuff that you can only get in New York City. If you're looking for a really unique New York souvenir, this is the place to come. So, backyard of Times Square, Bryant Park. One more fun thing about Bryant Park, you also get a really great view of the Empire State Building from here. And perhaps the most important thing about Bryant Park, if you look over there, you'll see this little kind of cement cube. That's a public bathroom. You know, public bathrooms, amazing in New York City. It's also a really nice public bathroom. They have flowers in there and stuff. It's often been voted the nicest public bathroom in New York City. So another great reason to come to the Times Square area. David and I couldn't help but try one of the food stalls in Bryant Park, so we went to Ample Hills Creamery for ice cream. This one's called It Came From Gowanus. It's chocolate, something that's orange scented brownies, hazelnut crack cookies, and white chocolate pearls. It's heavenly. This is New York City made ice cream, possibly some of the best ice cream in the world. Gotta come to Bryant Park to eat it. They actually have lots of locations throughout New York City, but it's a great advantage of coming to this tourist trap. Bryant Park is full of activities for New Yorkers and tourists alike to enjoy, including this wonderful reading room. You can come, you can borrow a book, read it out here in Bryant Park. There's also ping pong that you can play. They have all sorts of different fun games and events in addition to the shopping and the wonderful food. In the back of Bryant Park is the Schwartzman Building of the New York Public Library. You've maybe recognized it from movies such as Ghostbusters and Sex and the City. In front of the library are these two lions. Their nicknames are Patience and Fortitude, because those were qualities that our former mayor, Fiorello LaGuardia, thought that New Yorkers needed to get through the Great Depression. If you were to go into this library, there is the glorious Rose Reading Room that has all these paintings from the WPA, the Works Project Administration. And if you go into the children's section, you will also see a teddy bear, which was the inspiration for Winnie the Pooh. We are here at Grand Central Terminal. This is one of New York City's tourist traps, but it is absolutely beautiful, so you must see it. You'll also probably recognize it from a lot of movies and television shows that are filmed in New York City. Right here, this is where Serena stood in the very first episode of Gossip Girl when she was very first spotted. David is pointing to the exact spot because I've made him watch it a bazillion times. And if you look up at the ceiling, there is this beautiful zodiac ceiling that's meant to look like the night sky as you would see it in the summertime in Athens, Greece. This is one of the most picturesque and historical places to visit in New York City. They also offer free tours occasionally, so check their website for a free tour to discover all the history of Grand Central Terminal. This area of Grand Central Terminal is known by locals as the Whispering Gallery. I'm gonna come and show you why. Follow me. If you look above us, you will see these beautiful terracotta tiles. And they actually create this acoustical anomaly. So if I come over into this corner and I whisper into this corner, the sound travels up over these Gustavino tiles into the other corner. I like to whisper to somebody who's not suspecting it and go, "This is your conscience," and watch them jump out of the way. So I'm going to try it right now with David. Here I am, I'm talking into the wall. David's gonna talk to me.
I can hear you.
Do you hear that? It's so loud. I can hear you. I'm gonna show you David right now. So there's David over on the other side. So we're gonna selfie a testimonial to you. So yeah, you could hear me like I was right next to
I
you.
can hear you like you were coming out of the wall. It was pretty cool.
We're probably like what, 40 feet away?
Something like that. I don't know feet anymore, so it's fine.
So when I bring guests here, this is like usually one of the things that they remember the most about their entire trip to New York City, that they were here at the Whispering Gallery.
Very cool.
Behind me is the Oyster Bar. It's been here since Grand Central Terminal opened. Unfortunately, right now it's closed for COVID-19, but when it is open, its seafood is spectacular. I think it is one of the best seafood restaurants in New York City. It's such a wonderful New York City experience to eat there. I love to go there for lunch and get their chowders. Their chowders are out of this world. I hope I have convinced you that Times Square is a place that's worth visiting, whether or not you're here for the shopping, to see a Broadway show, to eat a wonderful meal at a restaurant, for the nightlife. Times Square is the best place to soak up the energy of New York City. And it's a place that both tourists and locals, whether or not they want to admit it, can actually come and have a really fun time. So don't let anyone shame you out of coming to Times Square and having the time of your life. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a New York City Minute. I have lots of videos giving you tips and tricks about how to enjoy New York City. And thanks for joining me on this tour of Times Square.